right. Fingers crossed. Please tell me that this is working. I'm going to get better at first because apparently that's what works right away. And then apparently it's not quite so much right after that. Hopefully this is better though. Don't know what else to do. We might just have to shut it down if this doesn't work. And hopefully the post-game show works a little bit better. Yes. All right. We're so far, we're 1 for 1. Anybody else? Anyone confirm? Still choppy. We're back. Better. Check 1, 2. Better so far. All right. I'm just going to tweet out the new link. I didn't want to do it until it worked better. Give me 1 second. Sorry again for the technical issues, guys. I really appreciate you sticking with me, and sorry for any issues. All right, we're back, it sounds like. I'll get to that other super chat. I'm not going to start over again. We've went over the inactives. I want to say thank you again for all the support. And again, presented by Luigi's Pizza. I think we're caught up. What a waste of 17 minutes so far, but I'll try to make it up to you guys, I promise. The super chat before was about Aaron Banks playing better. I kind of talked about it on the grades episode. I do feel like with Aaron Banks, it's a little bit kind of like where Sean Ryan was at last year, where there would be, and kind of like John Runyon Jr. as well, where there'd be some just really good stuff. And you'd be like, wow, this looks fantastic. And then there'd be like a play or two where you're just like, do you know how to play football? And it does like kind of ebb and flow a little bit. And there's just kind of a couple mental lapses here or there that make you go, what the hell was that? How did that just happen? But for the most part, I do think he's playing better football. Outside of the first game where it was really rough when you could tell he still wasn't 100%, Banks has played pretty darn good football. In fact, I want to see if I can bring up the stats here, or my grades here at least. So for Aaron Banks, where did that just go? There it is. All right, for Aaron Banks on offense. Yeah, so it was really kind of those first 2 games where he wasn't healthy. Since those first 2 games, he's had a positive grade. He had 1 other bad game, but he's been like basically neutral, good, neutral, really bad, good is how I would put it since those first 2 games where he clearly wasn't healthy in himself. I think he has been playing better. I think it's a really good sign that he is playing at that level, at least as of late. And if he can continue that really should help the offensive line out. To me, I would argue he's still been the Packers' second best offensive lineman behind Zach Tom. And they're going to need everyone on that line to be better, especially today. I think the offensive lines are going to be paramount to the success overall today for both of these teams. Beast Bumblebee, thank you for the super chat. How do you stop the Lions offense and how does Green Bay's offense get going? Yeah, it starts kind of what we were just leaving off with, Beast Bumblebee, for the offensive line for both of these teams. I think if Green Bay's offensive line gets going, they're going to be totally fine. Josh Jacobs is going to have success running the football. Jordan Love has been phenomenal when he's been protected in the pocket. Watson, Wicks, and Dobbs is still a more than satisfactory trio of wide receivers. So to me, this is, you have the pieces that you need. It's a real bummer to not have Tucker Kraft and obviously Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden as well. But if Green Bay's offense wants to be successful, they got to make sure Aiden Hutchinson's not wrecking shop, and they have to make sure that they are stopping that Lions defensive front and for their best possible way, get Josh Jacobs going in the running game. That to me is everything for Green Bay's offense. And then defensively, it's the exact same thing. Detroit's offensive line has had its struggles. Now they're basically what is kind of like a third string center. They're at a backup left guard. Tate Ratledge has been up and down as a rookie right guard. Their tackles are really good, but both of them are questionable coming into the week. They're both playing. They're both going to start, but they're both a little bit banged up as well. This Lions offensive line isn't where it's normally at. And you have the ability to get after Jared Goff. And Jared Goff is the definition of Superman to Clark Kent, depending on if he has protection as a quarterback. And then the other thing is that they're missing their all-pro tight end as well in Sam Laporta. And he was really the only player for Detroit in week 1 that was causing Green Bay any issues whatsoever. And now they don't have Laporta. So I actually think this has the ability to be a game where there's actually a lot of field goals. And I think you could see these defenses hold the offenses in check from an explosive standpoint and from a touchdown standpoint. And I do think the kicking game could be a big difference here. So, to me, to stop the Lions offense, get after Jared Goff and try to contain Jahmyr Gibbs like they did in week 1. And for the offense to get going, the offensive line has to play a whole heck of a lot better. If the defense holds them to 20, I'm confident we win. Yeah, I would be too. But again, I don't think it's going to be easy either to put up points in Detroit. The Lions defense isn't as good either as they have been in past years. I do think losing Aaron Glenn probably has hurt them some, but there's going to be opportunities to get point production. Green Bay's going to have to take advantage of it when they do. I'm in Wausau for TG, meaning the game, I'm assuming. Where's the Luigi's pick and save was a bust. Let's go to luigispizza.com. Let's see here. We can bring it up. Store locator. We want Luigi's. Wausau, Wisconsin. Let's see if we can get anything here. Oh, that's just like I don't know. Oh, here, where's this? All right, store locator. All right, here we go. All right, so it looks like in Wausau, we've got pick and save on Cardinal. Oh, that's for a draft house, though. Draft house. Looks like in Wausau, it's all for Pep's Pizza. They have the draft house pizzas. Doesn't look like they have the Luigi's ones close to you guys. So I put in a request for you guys, though, near Wausau for a Luigi's. Looks like they do more the Pep's draft house pizza near you guys. So my apologies. Doesn't look like they have the Luigi's near you. That's a bummer. You're gonna have, but their draft house pizzas are good as well. Who ends the season with more receiving touchdowns, Matthew Golden or Jameis Winston? I guess I'd say Winston at this point, which is a crazy thing to say. But that touchdown by Winston, by the way, was amazing. But hopefully Golden can get back as soon as next week and start putting some production out there. But like by the time Golden gets back, by the way, like Jaden Reed, I would guess is back against Chicago. So you could have, Wicks, Reed, Dobbs, and then Watson, like those four kind of ahead of Golden. Like Golden might be the number 5 receiver when he comes back, or at least kind of like rotating as the number 4, number 3. His options, like his opportunity was going to be huge. And while some of these injuries were happening, and unfortunately he had an injury of his own. So yeah, to me, I guess I would go Winston. I would probably say Ty if I had to guess, but hopefully Golden can come back and make an impact. I still think he's really good. I think he's been good. I just don't think he's had the opportunities and just been a little bit more of a victim of circumstance than anything else. But I would love to see him get going once we see him back on the field. I think Golden will get at least one as well. Would I eat a turducken? I would certainly try it. I've never had a turducken, but I like chicken. Duck is like a really weird thing. I like duck in certain things. I don't know if I think I've ever had duck plain, but I've had like my favorite food I've ever had in my life was a duck fried rice. That was like, it was unbelievable. It was absolutely unbelievable. I also had a goat cheese and duck pizza once. That was like one of my favorite pizzas I've ever had. So yeah, I really enjoy duck. So yeah, I'd give it a shot. Feel like one game Golden will get multiple touchdowns. That could easily be the case as well. I would love to see that. I still think he has a breakout game in him in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, not having Quay is definitely a bummer for this one. He would have been huge to have. What's the magic number to hold the Lions under for the Packers to win? I do think, I forget who said it earlier, but I do think if you can hold them under 20, you feel good. I honestly think this is going to be like, I don't know what the over under is on this. Let me see really quick. Lions 3-point favorite now, by the way. Over unders 49.5 points. That sounds like right on. I think this is going to be like a 24-23 game, something like that. I actually think I would take the under in this one. I just think that the Packers offense is going to struggle with the road in the crowd noise, and with not having Tucker Kraft, they haven't looked as good. The tape was ugly on offense last week. I think their offense is going to struggle a little bit. And I think the Packers defense is going to be able to hold Detroit more than people think as well. So I think you're looking at like a 23-22 game, something like that, 24-21, 24-23. I think it's kind of in that realm. And it just, which one comes out on top? That would be my guess for this one. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Go Pack Go. It's going to be an amazing game. Enjoy it, guys. Appreciate you being here, Mike. And thanks for the Thanksgiving wishes right back at you, my friend. Shepard has been a huge upgrade over Glenn for the Lions. Their D played bad last week, but he has been very good otherwise. Yeah, I honestly, like, obviously I haven't watched them week to week. I spent a lot of time watching this last game because it was the more recent one. I obviously saw them in week 1, but I think Shepard's done overall a pretty good job with them. I'm interested to see how they attack Green Bay's offense today. I think there's going to be opportunities. I know they haven't had Kirby Joseph, but I still think without Kirby Joseph, there's an opportunity there. And for me, I don't know. I still think this is a more low scoring game, but we'll see which offense can get the best of the opposing defense. Turducken is amazing. We've got one every year for 11 years now. I don't even know, like, do you just get those at the store? I don't know. I've never even, like, I guess, thought about it, but apparently you just can. You're Jeff Hafley. Are you blitzing Goff a bunch? Or are you playing more 7-man coverage? I think it's going to be paramount that he switches things up. I really do. I think he's going to have to figure out a way to keep things, guessing for the Lions offense. I would love to see early on if my 4-man rush can get there against their offensive line. You should be able to, but it's always easier said than done. But if my pass rush is getting there early with just 4, I might test that early and see if they can get there. And if so, then I'm going to cover with 7, maybe bring a 5th guy every once in a while, just as a change of pace, and maybe trying to get Micah Parsons on a 1-on-1. But for the most part, in an ideal world, you can cover with 7 and rush with 4, but you have to course correct really quick. If all of a sudden they're, finding ways to beat you and you're not getting home with a 4-man rush, you got to start bringing some additional pressure, at least bringing some, some simulated pressures and trying to get things hurried up a little bit for Jared Goff. Because when he starts hurrying up and when that clock starts going faster, that's when you can get Jared Goff to start making those mistakes. KPT, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that, my friend. When we win, getting Reed and Golden will be nuts. That would be, and Quay. I would assume Quay, Golden, and Reed would all be back for Chicago in a couple weeks, which would be really, really nice. That would be quite the boost. But they also have to stay healthy through this game as well. You can't just, you've got to find ways to get out of this one, not only with a win, but hopefully with no other major injuries. Go Pack, go. Turkey Day better with the Packers win. Most hated Minnesota, and good to see you, my friend. And I am right there with you. How did Minnesota beat Detroit? Anything we can replicate? Yeah, Detroit is, I know we all have this image of Detroit and like, oh, they're the best and they're infallible and things like that. They're on the outside of the playoffs looking into the NFC. They're a half game worse than Green Bay. Like, they have their own weaknesses that you have the opportunity to exploit. I think if anything, if you want to be upset that maybe Matt's been too conservative, I actually think you can make the argument that Dan Campbell has maybe been too aggressive. Like, you could probably have those two maybe meet in the middle a little bit more. But this to me is a game that has so many NFC North implications for both of these teams. As far as Minnesota, as we've seen all year long, this is a any given week league. We have seen some unbelievable teams lose to some really bad teams. Obviously, Green Bay losing to Carolina doesn't look as bad, but certainly Cleveland looks like a brutal loss, no matter which way you slice it. And for Detroit, losing to Minnesota looks like it seems impossible. It seems absolutely impossible that McCarthy and the Vikings could have beat, Minnesota or beat Detroit, but it happened. And that's what we've seen week in and week out. And I just think sometimes you have to let Detroit be over aggressive and hope that you can take advantage of it. They're going to go for it on some 4th down, 4th and 5, 4th and 8, maybe even 4th and longer. You better find ways to get off the field, because otherwise they're just going to keep doing it and they're going to keep the ball in their hands, and it's going to be a long day for you. So get off the field when you have the chance, whether it's a 3rd and long and keeping them into a 4th and long so they can't go for it, or when they do go for it on 4th down, getting off the field and putting yourself in plus territory. I see a lot of people on X are calling MG a bust. Yeah, I think that's way too early. Matthew Golden's going to be a really good receiver. I really, really, truly believe that. There's certain like picks that you can see early on, Jordan Morgan probably being one of those that you're just like, just not seeing it. I'm willing to give it some time and the benefit of the doubt. I think he'll maybe still be a good offensive lineman, but it's not clicking. Matthew Golden's not like that at all. If you really watch his routes, I just think that the season is totally different if Jordan hits him on a couple of those long balls early in the season that he was open for, and unfortunately Jordan just missed them. I just think the entire season gets a different connotation. He might even get some more opportunities after that. Like, he's a playmaker. He's going to have a ton of opportunities moving forward. And, he's in a room right now where, especially when he comes back, there's a lot of established wide receivers and you're all fighting for playing time. And he's a rookie trying to learn multiple spots within this offense. Wide receiver is a tough position to learn in Matt LaFleur's offense. Always has been. It does take some time. And I just think it's been more a victim of circumstance thing. So I do not see Matthew Golden as a bust. Do I think his overall production this year has been disappointing based off of expectations and what I saw in training camp and what I thought he could do this year, even what I've seen on film this year. Yeah, it's a big time bummer that we haven't seen a little bit more from him. Again, I'm not putting that on Matthew Golden entirely. I think that's just the situation, but a bust is crazy at this point. I still think he's going to be a fantastic wide receiver for Green Bay. X is going to take it from you today. Parsons has a big game too. I love it, coach. Let's make it happen and speak it into existence. Ignore 99% of the stuff you see on X. That's probably a decent rule of thumb. As a Lions fan, this matchup terrifies me with our interior so bad at the moment. Green Bay's D-line should make Goff's life miserable, and I think Love will be able to take advantage of no Kirby for some deep balls. I love that. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a cool fan too. And just kind of not necessarily because you're saying anything positive about Green Bay, but just being respectful and fun. Appreciate that. And thanks for coming in, Quentin, and making the comment. That's awesome. I would say good luck today, but I wouldn't mean it. I hope you guys have fun. I hope you guys, stay uninjured, but you can win games down the road when maybe it's more advantageous for Green Bay. Just not today. Yeah, I agree. Just need a few more targets for Golden to see what he can actually do. Would love to see a split back look with Willis in the shotgun. That could be fun. So split back, Willis in the gun with like Jacobs and Wilson behind. In the shot, are you maybe more like pistol, or are you talking about maybe the duo running back look where you're sending the running back in motion behind, two blockers. You've got a one-on-one on the opposite side. Then you're faking a handoff. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure I've got this right. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So how you would probably do that is you probably put like Watson one-on-one on the one side, Willis at quarterback. You'd probably do Brooks and Jacobs in the backfield would be my guess. So Brooks and Jacobs in the backfield. And then you'd probably do something like Fitzpatrick. And I would say maybe Wicks, because Wicks is a really good blocker. I'd probably put like Fitzpatrick and Wicks out wide. And so you've got two blockers on the outside. You're putting Brooks in motion. You've got Watson one-on-one. So you kind of read the one-on-one first. If I think Watson's got a great one-on-one, maybe I'm just taking that shot down the field to him. If not, or if they're keeping a safety over the top of that, then awesome. I'm going to get an advantageous look one way or the other. And then how you read it is, all right, and because you're reading kind of Watson pre-snap. All right, Watson's not an option. All right, then we're going to put Brooks in motion. We're reading this the side over there where do they have 3 or 4 guys to cover that? If not, all right, I'm going to throw it to Brooks, and then he's got 2 blockers, and we're going to basically run it as an outside run play where I think Brooks is going to be able to, pick up 5, 6, 7 yards because Wicks and Fitzpatrick are blocking 2 guys. And if they can make their blocks, you're picking up yardage before anyone could get over there. If they overcompensate and put, more guys over there, if there's all of a sudden 4 guys over there, and again, you've got guys over the top of Watson, now you've got an advantageous box. And now where the difference is with Malik Willis over Jordan Love in that situation is now you've got the keeper option as well. So now you're doing a read option where if, like, let's say Hutchinson, you're going to probably put Hutchinson in no man's land, where if he crashes down on Jacobs, because he kind of needs to, because they're at a disadvantageous look, all right, then I'm going to keep, and I might have daylight on that side, especially with Watson running a deep route. They might not, and the linebackers adjusting over to that potential swing pass to Chris Brooks. I might not now be in freedom. And if Hutchinson stays, now I've got an awesome box to run into where there's a linebacker that's abandoned. The safety is still deep. Hutchinson is on the quarterback. And now Josh Jacobs might be getting like a 5-on-5 on the offensive line. And you're feeling very comfortable about what that could look like as well. And you're hoping to pick up 5-6 yards that way. So you're just kind of reading everything, both pre and post snap, on how the defense adjusts everything. You could do something like that. I still don't think you want to take Jordan off the field, but in general, what you're saying, I think there could be some fun, wrinkles to that sort of play for Green Bay if they wanted to run it. Gut feel is that this is going to be very tight, very anxious moments. I think both teams will have a lead at different points. I could see this one ebbing and flowing back and forth, and I think it's going to come down to the very end. I think Green Bay's offense is going to struggle a little bit in this one. I think Green Bay's defense is going to play really well, and I think this is going to come down to clutch moments from either Jared Goff and or Jordan Love. And the player that comes up with those clutch moments in the fourth quarter ultimately is the team that wins this game. And I think the Packers by 1. I'm going, what did I say, 23-22? Missed extra point early in the game by Detroit is the difference. 23-22, Packers win. Manifesting a special teams touchdown today, M.2. All right. you're going to have to be a little bit more clear. If you say you're manifesting a special teams touchdown in a Packers game, you are more likely to get a manifested touchdown for the other team than you are for the Packers team. So I will happily manifest a Packers touchdown on special teams with you today as well. But just be, you don't want to monkey's paw this thing and wish for a special teams touchdown. Because if you told me there's a special teams touchdown in today's game, I'd be willing to bet you it's probably not for Green Bay. So we just need to be a little bit more clear there to the football gods, M. I'm obviously mostly facetious, and thank you for the chat. I appreciate you, my friend. All right. Let's see. The vibe is wild here at Ford Field. Packers fans have traveled well. Go Pack Go. That's awesome. That's great to hear. Love to hear that there's a good chunk of Packers fans there. A Green Bay touchdown, a Luigi's victory touchdown. Much better. Much, much better. What will Will Shepard's role be today? Just returning kicks. I honestly, Mitchell, I don't know. I really don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. He didn't really do kick returning, at least as far as I remember, in camp. He did punt returning. I don't think he did kick returning. Kick returner is a real question with no Savion Williams. I would expect Bo Melton to potentially be back there. I think you could see an Emmanuel Wilson back there, by the way. It would not stun me to see him. I don't think it's going to be Brooks. It's obviously not going to be Jacobs. I don't think it's going to be like Watson or Dobbs or let's see. Yeah, or Wicks returning kicks. Like I said, I think Melton will be back there. It's not going to be Heath. You don't really have any corners to do it outside of other than Bo Melton. So I would guess your three options for returning kicks are Bo Melton, Emmanuel Wilson, and Will Shepard. And Shepard could be somebody that's back there returning kicks. I think the more interesting one is punt returner, where he did do that in preseason. He looked pretty good. He had one long return. He's not necessarily like a prototypical punt returner, but I do think he brings more juice than Romeo Dobbs and gives you that option. Here's the question that I would have. This is the biggest game of the year so far. Are you willing to put an undrafted rookie free agent in Will Shepard back there in his very first game in a key moment to return punts? Like, that would be my overall question. If you feel comfortable, then great. If you feel good doing it, awesome. But do you just maybe feel more comfortable saying we're just going to go with Dobbs? We know he's going to catch it. We don't care if it's, returned or not for any distance. We just want to be safe with it. That would be the other thing. And then, of course, you could see him a handful of plays on offense as well, with as beat up as they are at wide receiver. You've got your top three in, Wicks, Dobbs, and Watson. And then after that, you could see some Bo Melton. You could see some Will Shepard, and you could see some Malik Heath, but I would expect this to be a lot of Wicks, Dobbs, and Watson overall. But I'm interested in it. Wouldn't stun me if he was returning kicks. Wouldn't stun me if he was returning punts. Wouldn't stun me if we saw, 5 to 8 snaps of him on offense either. It wouldn't stun me if we didn't see a single snap of anything. Maybe something on special teams that's not returning, but it wouldn't stun me if he was just basically like active, inactive, and he was sort of more break glass in case of emergency player at a couple different positions. Call me crazy, but I'd rather Quay play than Nixon. Obviously, you don't get the choice, first and foremost, but it's an interesting conversation. I do feel pretty comfortable with Haddon, especially the way this defense plays. I would probably rather have Quay too. I don't think you're wrong on that, Bunk, but again, it's, they don't really get the choice on it. But I'm thankful that Nixon's back. I do think he will help. And I do think that if McDuffie can play like he did a week ago, and even Hopper can play like he did a week ago, they have the bodies still at linebacker. This is going to be a really big game for Edgerrin Cooper as well. I would be stunned. I guess maybe not stunned, but the question here is obviously no Keyshawn returning kicks. They haven't done it with him all season long. And now he's coming off a stinger, and he was like questionable all week and kind of like a game time decision. I would be pretty surprised if all of a sudden today's the day where they're like, yep, coming off the stinger, we're good with Keyshawn Nixon returning kicks. If he were fully healthy, I would think it would have to be an option today. But with him coming off the injury, I really would be surprised if they did. Wish we had Justin Fields to return punts. I don't know how I'd feel about Fields as a punt returner, but as a kick returner, it'd be a ton of fun. Kick returner would be really fun. Felt really good going into this game, but with Quay out, it really changes everything for me. As long as McDuffie and again Hopper play like they did a week ago, they should be fine. But the onus is on them to be able to do that back-to-back weeks and stack success. But both of those players, I thought the linebacker room was one of the best on the team last week. I thought McDuffie, Hopper, and Coop all played really, really good football. So if they can repeat that, Green Bay should be fine. It shouldn't be a huge issue. Most seasons, the offensive line gets better as the season goes on. Do you have thoughts on why it has seemed to get worse instead of better? Is it coaching, lack of accountability? I don't think it's gotten worse, Michael. I think it's just kind of been this way all season long. I certainly don't think it's gotten better. I do think there's been some signs. I think they had moments in the running game last week. I thought there was moments of good stuff against the Giants as well. I do think Aaron Banks has played better the last couple of weeks. I think Zach Tom's put together 2 back-to-back really nice weeks. Rashid has been disappointing. What you really need to see is that center and right guard's position really, really stepping up in this one. Those are the 2 spots that really need to play a whole heck of a lot better. No update on Love's shoulder. Status quo. We'll see if he can hand off with his normal hand today, if he still has to do the bizarro right hand handoff for everything. Let's see. Yeah, I would assume Morgan would be the first option at left tackle, but I think they're going to want competition there for sure. I don't know. There was some really ugly stuff on the O-line last week as well. Think of all those free rushers that both Jordan A and Emmanuel Wilson had to deal with. A lot of mental mistakes on the offensive line last week. A lot of them. You heard Mike Wall talk about it. You heard Matt LaFleur talk about it as well. Linebackers are going to have to help in the middle for crosses and slants big time. They're going to put those people, those linebackers in no man's land, and they're going to have to be ready to deal with that. No question about it. What are your thoughts on them maybe taking the ball if they win the toss? Yeah, I talked about this all week. I would expect both of these teams to take the ball if they win the toss. I think both of these teams want to go and get a score early and try to put the onus and the pressure on the other team. So I think both of these teams take the ball. The one thing I would be wondering about if you're Green Bay, the one thing you always have to be a little bit more cognizant of on the road is if you take the ball in offense to start on the road, especially in this game against Detroit, that crowd's going to be completely pumped up right away. That crowd's going to be as loud as they're going to be all game long right away to start the game. So there's sometimes, if you trust your defense, you kick off, and if you hold them, now the stands are maybe a little bit more quiet. They're sitting down. They're bummed that their offense didn't get any production, and maybe you get a little quieter crowd on your very first drive. At the same time, if you kick off and they go down and score a touchdown, now you're down 7-0. Now you have the ball and the crowd's even more amped up. So, to me, take the ball, deal with the crowd noise, try to go down and score a touchdown right away, and try to take the crowd out of it. Frankly, that's where I would like to see it. I hate the Packers playing on Thanksgiving, especially against Detroit. Why is that, HBK? I do like the HBK forever. But I don't know. Thanksgiving football to me is fun. I enjoy Thanksgiving football. I'm bummed because I don't get to do, some of the stuff with my family and things like that. But I don't know. To me, this is an awesome game. I can't wait for it. I'm pumped up. It's exciting. We got 45 minutes till kickoff, and yeah, I'm super excited. Plus, if it's a big if, but if Green Bay can get the win today, that makes the rest of Thanksgiving better, and we get to hate watch the Bears tomorrow, which is fantastic, and get to kind of see where that ends up, and then have all day Sunday to kind of cheer for things that would help the Packers. And yeah, to me, there's a lot to like about this, but ideally with a Packers win. I don't know about that, but I do appreciate Lions fans being here as well. Hope you guys enjoy the show. The Pax What She Said crew talked about how they think Matt LaFleur will want to trust the defense, knowing that Matt will likes to respond to Campbell's aggression with caution. Fans may not like it, but maybe. Yeah, I think if anything, it maybe has a little bit more to do with the crowd noise and just trying to take them out of it early. But if it's me, I want the ball. But I'll be interested to see who wins the toss and who wants the ball or who wants to kick. It's an interesting, and again, for Dan Campbell, he might say too, hey, my crowd's going to be completely wild as hell. I want to kick to Green Bay. They're not going to be able to do anything with the crowd. So yeah, the more I think about it, I'll just say I'm interested to see who wins the toss and what they decide to do with it. I personally would want the ball either way, but you can make an argument for Green Bay saying we don't want that crowd noise right away. You can make an argument for Detroit saying we want that crowd noise right away. I haven't seen anything yet about Belton or Morgan. Seeing if I can find anything really quick here. Yeah, it doesn't look like Doesn't look like I've seen anything yet about the who's playing where on the offensive line. If anyone's seen anything, put it in chat. We'll get it up there. Detroit always plays inspired ball on Thanksgiving, but you're right. If they win, it's especially sweet. We got this. We got this one today. Feeling good about it. I don't feel that good about it, but I feel good about it overall. Hopefully they can pick up a win, and hopefully it's a very fun day. Don't know why, but I got a good feeling about today. All right, you too, Mike. I love it. I want Micah eating the turkey leg at the end of the game today. That would be sweet. And Micah and Jordan out there eating turkey legs. Who else? Josh Jacobs, get him a turkey leg. Christian Watson. That would be a good crew out there. I'm all for it. Hope nobody gets hurt today and it's a fair game. Yes, I'm a Lions fan. It's going to be a fantastic game. John, thanks for being here. I think it's going to be a fantastic game as well. Remember Aaron doing a lot of great things to help out the O-line, checks, hard count, advantageous audibles. Feel like that's the next step in Love's development with being a field general. Yeah, a little bit tougher to do hard count when you're on the road. You're more doing silent count than you're doing hard count. He checks a lot. There's a lot of cans at the line of scrimmage. So yeah, we'll see what autonomy he gets as time goes on, and if some more audibles are in play for him. But there's definitely a piece of that. But listen, I don't need my quarterback helping there's things that you can do. Absolutely, those are good things to do. I need my offensive line to help Jordan, to help my quarterback. That's what they're getting paid for, and to help my running back. So I need my offensive line to go out there and perform well, regardless of what the play call is. I don't care if it's a run. I don't care if it's a pass. I don't care. Go out and block your guy, get the job done, protect your QB, make holes for your running back, and make things easier. And if they can do that, it's going to be great. Do I think Jordan can help in some ways? Yes, but I think he's doing some of that already. But there's maybe some things with his progression over time that help as well. All right, just making sure I didn't miss any super chats. Let's do our sleeper picks really quick here. We'll remove the comments. Sleeper picks. Oh, I didn't have it set up in this one because I had to restart the chat. Brutal. All right. Get my thing up here. Here we go. So easy. So seamless today. All right, hopefully the Packers have a better opening to the game than I do in the podcast today. Bad stream followed by unprepared sleeper picks, but we've got it up. Let's get to our sleeper picks. Monday Night Football, I'm going this week. Giants and Patriots. The thing I love is it's not a great game, right? So it makes it a little bit more fun with sleeper. Stephon Diggs, more than 47.5 receiving yards. Feel really good about that one. Travion Henderson, more than 69.5 rushing yards. Feel pretty dang good about that one too. Then Jackson Dart, I feel like he's going to have to throw his way back into this game at some point. I expect the Patriots to have a lead. And if they don't have a lead, well, then I expect it to be because Jackson Dart was very efficient throwing the football. So either way, Diggs, Henderson, and Dart, I'm going more than the totals listed there. The best part is you can make your own selections. You don't have to listen to me. Get a 100% match up to $100 by utilizing code PACKADAY. Again, 100% match up to $100 by utilizing code PACKADAY. Terms and conditions apply. Check out Sleeper for details. They're available in over 25 states nationwide. So what are you waiting for? Get after those sleeper picks today. They've got a bunch of stuff out there for all of today's games, including Green Bay's game, which makes it a ton of fun. Of course, Sunday, Monday, make it your own adventure and do what you may, but check out Sleeper when you get a chance. Cannot recommend it enough. And thank you to them for partnering with us on today's show. All right, back to your wonderful comments. From Seth, going to be an easy one today against Fraud-Troy. I don't know what that means. 38-32 Packers. I would be pretty surprised if Green Bay gets to 38 in this game, but I would love it. I would love it if they found a way to do so. McManus was kicking 63-yard field goals during pregame today. Love it. Hopefully he's back 100% healthy. Packers are lucky Max Brosmer didn't start. That's probably true. Green Bay still wins the game, but it probably would have been a harder game. I don't think it would have been easier. I don't think it could have got worse than what McCarthy put on the field. So I know you're probably trolling a little bit here, El Rock Campos, but yeah, you're probably not totally wrong. It would have been a harder game. Can we get a Love or Willis version of the Jameis touchdown this season? That would be so awesome. Probably. I mean, that's a 1 of 1. I mean, that is a 1 of 1. How many quarterbacks in NFL history make that play? I told this story the other day, but when I heard, because I kind of got it spoiled for me in the press box that Jameis Winston scored a touchdown pass, and I had red zone up, so I was waiting for the play to come up, and then the play comes up on red zone, and I'm assuming that Jameis Winston is chilling wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. And no, he gets it at like the 20-yard line, adjusts to the ball, makes the catch, makes the guy miss, and then breaks the tackle into the end zone. Just a remarkable play. I don't know that there's another quarterback that's doing that again in my lifetime, to be honest. I do not agree that Cooper has had an underwhelming sophomore year. He's played really, really well. They're asking him to do things a little bit different this year. He has a much better understanding of the defense. And if it makes anyone feel better, he's my third highest graded player on defense so far for Green Bay, behind only Evan Williams and, of course, Micah Parsons. So, no, I think he's having a really, really nice season. In fact, if anything, I think it's going a little bit under the radar. I want to see what he's got for his PFF grade. I'm curious. I never really compare overall grades. He's the 5th highest graded player by PFF, behind only Micah Parsons, Xavier McKinney, Isaiah McDuffie, Carrington Valentine are the ones ahead of him. So we both have Micah ahead of him. They have McKinney, McDuffie, and Valentine ahead. I just have Evan Williams ahead of him. So no, I think both of us are pretty pleased. Both PFF and I are pretty pleased with how Cooper's played so far. I think maybe where you get into the expectation that he was going to make that Pro Bowl or all pro level jump, I don't think he's made that. I think he's going to have to come up with more big plays. I think he came up with more big plays last year. And I think this is where things can kind of get a little bit out of whack sometimes. So if you look at Zadarius Smith's second year in Green Bay, his first year was phenomenal. His second year in Green Bay, that dude made a big play almost every single game. A sack, a forced fumble. He had a big play every single game. But the rest of the game, he played some really crappy football in between. It was not a good brand of football. He was big play hunting. He basically went big play hunting. It would be kind of a player in baseball, just swinging for the home run every time. And it's yeah, dude hit 50 home runs, but he hit 185 and struck out a billion times in between. So I think last year, Edgerrin Cooper made a bunch of splash plays, super sexy plays, but in between, there was a lot of inconsistencies, lining up in the wrong spot, missed plays, just a little bit more hesitation at times. You could tell not the comfortability with the defense that he has now. And this year, he's playing a really good brand of football overall. And I think playing, doing everything that his assignment is being asked to do. You're just not seeing maybe as many of the splash plays, but his overall brand of football is much better. And the thing about those splash plays, especially in football, especially for a linebacker, is those sometimes are, it's almost like turnovers come in bunches. You can go a stretch where you're making those big plays. I would still expect Coop to have a bunch of those at some point, but I love the brand of football that he's playing. And I think some of the stuff that he's doing down in and down out is going a little bit more underappreciated, and it's a much better look, I think, this year. And Jeff Hafley just talked about this very similarly in a press conference a couple weeks ago of how much more familiar and how much better he is in the defense as a whole this year. I think he's playing great football. Hopefully we don't regret releasing our record. I mean, I don't have any regrets over that whatsoever. I think McManus is still the right way to go. McManus just needs to make his kicks. I think hopefully now that he's healthy, he will. But to me, McManus is the better kicker between the two. Hopefully Green Bay gets the ball first, goes up 7 right away, and lets this D put pressure on on them all game long. I'm in, Ryan. Sign me up. I'm going to be the one to say it. I'm glad Glasgow waited to come back. Are you talking about Ragnow? That he waited? I'm assuming you mean Ragnow, but Glasgow is out injured today as well. All right, so Will Shepherd returning punts and warm-ups. That's not surprising. I still don't know that necessarily will mean that he's the guy to do it, but it could add a little jolt to them. I just want to make sure he doesn't make a mistake there. That's the bigger thing for me. But he probably is the best returner on the team right now. That's not saying much, but he probably is the best returner on the team. So listen, if you're at some point you got to put your guys out there. If he's going to be active and on the roster, what can he do well? If he's the best returner, go out and let him be the best returner. Where do you think Micah lines up today? McManus was making 63-yard field goals in pregame today. Love to hear that part of it. I think Micah is going to be all over the place, and I would expect that they're going to want to get him matched up on the backup left guard and on that, basically kind of like third string center as much as they can as well. I kind of talked about this in the pregame show today. Sometimes when you have a Penei Sewell, as Detroit, you feel a little bit more comfortable, we can block Micah one-on-one. We don't need to help. And I think sometimes that can get you in trouble as well, where even as good as Penei Sewell is, Micah still is going to be able to get it, take advantage from time to time. So hopefully, regardless of where he is lined up, Micah can have a huge impact in today's game. Yes, Van Ness is out, unfortunately. Turkey leg for Jordan, turkey leg for Micah, turkey leg, I can't talk. Turkey leg for Jordan, for Micah, and for Christian. Victory pizza for Andy. This is the way, Fred. That is a beautifully worded message, my friend. LVN played the weird thing about LVN last game is he played like 6 or 7 snaps. He played like 5 in the first quarter, first half-ish, and then sat out a bunch of times and then randomly played 1 snap in the fourth quarter. I think Brooks was the same too, where he randomly played a snap in the fourth quarter. And it's like, what the hell was that about? And then now both of them are out this week. Jalen Simpson will have a role on special teams. I bet he's a core special teamer today, would be my guess. You won't see him on defense. I would be pretty surprised. I mean, you'd have to he's a safety, right? So you'd have to go through Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, Kitano Ladapo, and Zane Anderson, or at least 4 of those 5 before Jalen Simpson's seeing the field. So yeah, I don't see a role for him on defense, but he will have a role on special teams. All right, what else we got, guys? I'm going to probably get out of here pretty quick. Just kind of get ready for the game, ready for our halftime show and post game show as well. Hopefully we don't have any lagging issues with that. Again, sorry for the issue. I still have no idea. My guess is it was just a StreamYard issue because I had a 0.5 gig speeds when I tested it, even while you were saying I was lagging. So it certainly wasn't the internet. I restarted the computer and still had issues. It certainly wasn't that. All of my audio stuff is checking like it normally would. So I think it was just a bad StreamYard experience, unfortunately. Luckily, that's the only time I've ever had that happen. Feels like a game where we got to lean on passing. Lions are top 5 in EPA against the run. No faith in this line to block or Jacobs to get explosives. Smooterino, I talked about the same thing in the pregame show today. One of my 12 keys for the game was don't just run for the sake of running. When you used to go against the Williams while in Minnesota, you didn't just be like, well, we got to get our 25 runs in. It was like, no, those 25 runs are going to go for -3 yards. So you know what? Take those 25 runs and turn them into 25 passes and see what you can do. At some point, you just got to play the game that's out there for you. And if you can't run the ball, then you know what? It's in Jordan's hands and let him go cook. And I think that is probably a better opportunity here. Try it early, see if you can get some stuff going in the run game, but this is probably going to have to be a big Jordan game. Will, thank you so much for the kind words. Appreciate you, my friend. And you're more than welcome. Glad I can do it. Go Pack Go and make sure Andy gets 2 pizzas on the win. I might eat 2 pizzas if they win today. That's a very real possibility. Over 234 for Love today. Over. Taking the over. By the way, if you're ever taking betting advice from me, do the opposite. Do the opposite is always my suggestion. But I would say over. Due for an X interception and a Jordan Love big game. Let's feast today. Thankful to be born a Packers fan. Right there with you, Benjamin. Smash that like button and subscribe. Go Pack Go. Appreciate you, tough. Belton over Morgan at right guard. That doesn't surprise me. That needed to be the case. We'll see if there's a rotation, but it should be Belton. What size pizzas? We got the normal Luigi's, they're about 12-inch pizzas, so they're perfect. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He should be starting. It's annoying that a 3rd down stop means nothing against this Lions team. Yeah, like I said in the pregame show, I don't want to see you put that 4th down fist up. Unless it's 4th and 20. You hold them to 4th and 20, you have my permission to put the fist up. Instead, you better be ready to play that 4th down. Job not done. Job not done until you get them off the field. You are wrong, J-Rock. There have been cans to pass plays as well. There have been some can to run plays where they run right into a brick wall. To me, that has more to do with just the bad run blocking. Jordan's still making good decisions more often than not when he's canning to run plays, where it's an advantageous look to run the football and the blocking just hasn't been good enough. So he cans to pass plays as well. It more often is a can to a run play, if I'm being honest. And maybe that's something that Green Bay has to look at a little bit. But to me, it is more to do with the blocking than the actual can itself. I don't know. That makes my head spin, M. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Great show to get caught up in the Packers. Your co-host is always great on podcasts as well. Hope to listen to you all again before the NFC Championship game. Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate you being here, Quentin. Thank you for that. No holiday here in Canada, but told my boss that I'm going I'm doing online trading this afternoon. Oh, training. They said training this afternoon. Probably a good idea, Helson. Good luck with that. Just tell him I said that you could have the day off. It's a holiday. It's a holiday for Packers fans. It's your religion as a Packers fan, and today is a day of worship. So I don't know, as far as religious freedom goes, today should be a day off for you. I think that's a fair thing to say. Cooking a half dozen sides for visiting family. Jealous you get to eat pizza as a non-Wisconsinite. Sad I've never tried a Luigi's pizza. It is funny. So I've told this story just really quick. If I go to my family's for Thanksgiving, my family will say, screw you, we're not making pizza. You have to eat the traditional crap. If I go to my in-laws are awesome. And they're like, we're going to take care of you. We know you love pizza. We're going to make you a pizza. So they'll make like a couple pizzas on Thanksgiving if I go to my in-laws. And the coolest thing, the best part is that like, as everyone, like, because like a bunch of other family members will come over, like from their, like my, the in-law side, and they'll be like, what, why is there pizza? And then they kind of explain, well, Andy loves, pizza on Thanksgiving. So everyone's like, all right, whatever. But then you like see everyone get in line for like the food. And then like everyone like stops at the pizza and like, yeah, I want pizza too. And then you all of a sudden you look at the whole table and like everyone's got slices of pizza on their plate. I'm like, damn right. Make it a tradition, damn it. We're going to put him behind the scrimmage a lot today, I reckon. Hopefully. Think Jacobs has more of an even split this week, or does he? I bet he gets. I don't think they're going to run the ball a ton. Honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to. I hope I'm wrong, but Wilson will get his run in this game. But I bet this is still like 75% Jacobs would be my guess. Best can play so far has been the Willis pass last year. I'd have to go. I mean, I don't pay that close attention to when they can and when they don't. Just run, whatever they decide to run. I just hope they run it successfully, to be honest. And we don't know. Sometimes, by the way, you can have cans where they're not even, it's like a dummy can where like you're thinking that you're canning to something, but it's really not. You're keeping the same thing on. Like there's a lot of mind games that goes on with that stuff too. So you never quite know for sure, which is why I don't put too much stock into it. All right, friends. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoy the hell out of the game. As mentioned, I will be live on the Luigi's halftime show at halftime of today's game on the Luigi's Twitter account. So find that at halftime. Post-game, I will be here immediately following the game for a live post-game show as well. Hopefully we don't have any technical issues with either of those, but if so, we'll course correct just like we did for the pregame show. Again, I appreciate you guys sticking with me. As mentioned, thank you again for everything. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the game. Hopefully we can pick up a big Packers win. I'll see you guys all very, very soon as halftime. But until next time, and as always, go Pack Go.